wanted to save Ion with that, but now I have no choice. I can't afford to lose you.
Van, I knew it! You've betrayed me! You said you were going to preserve these outer lands. What about the people of Axaria, the Oracle soldiers and the Tartarus? They'll all be killed!
Hysterica, someday you'll come to understand the folly and ugliness of this world. I want you to live, at least long enough for me to see you come to your senses. You have the phonic hymns. Use them.
Damn! The tunnels are collapsing!
Everyone, close! Hurry!
Master, thank goodness!
There's someone there.
Daddy! It hurts! Daddy! Hang on! I'll save you!
Stop! That's a bottomless sea of mud and miasma. You'll die if you jump in there.
Then what can we do for that boy?
Let's try healing phonic arts from here. They might reach.
He's sinking! No!
Mommy! Help! Daddy! Help! Is this place going to break apart too?
Let's go to the Tartarus. The emergency buoy is operational, and it's managing to stay above the mud. It looks like it will still run.
There's a place called Yulia City here in the cliff off. It should be to the west. Let's try heading there.
You seem to know a lot about this place. I'd like to hear an explanation once we're safe.
far we go, there's nothing in sight. Are we really underground?
In a way. The place you live is known down here as the Outer Lands, the world's outer shell. It's a floating land supported by pillars called Sephiroth trees that extend from the cliff off.
I don't understand.
Long ago, the Outer Lands were here in the cliff off.
Unbelievable!
2,000 years ago, the miasma enveloped Aldrint and infected the land. That is when Yulia read the 7-part score, finding a way to escape destruction and bring prosperity.
Based on the score, Yulia proposed a plan to raise the planet's crust using the Sephiroth.
And that was the beginning of the Outer Lands. Huh. That's quite a story.
Yes, only maestros and above in the Order of Lorelei know, as do those born in the Cliff-Off. Then, you're from the Cliff-Off tier? At any rate, we've fallen down here. We were saved thanks to Tyr's phonic hymn.
Why did this happen? You said Axariuth was supported by a pillar, correct?
Yes, but that pillar disintegrated. How?
I don't know anything about it. I was just trying to neutralize the miasma. He told me that if I caused a hyperresonance there, the miasma would disappear.
My brother deceived you, and you destroyed the pillar that supported Axariuth.
No, that can't be.
Van ordered you to stand next to the passage ring. Those passage rings are what produce the pillars. Tyr was probably right. I was careless. I never dreamed that Van would make Luke do such a thing.
I wish Luke had at least discussed it with us beforehand. Neutralizing the miasma could have waited until the residents were evacuated. Of course, there is little point in saying that now.
Yes, Axariuth is gone. Thousands of lives lost in an instant.
Are you saying it's my fault? It's not my fault. Master Van said... Yeah, Master Van told me to do it. I had no idea this would happen. No one told me. It's not my fault. It's not my fault!
Colonel?
I'm returning to the bridge. If I stay here, I'll just be irritated by some ridiculous ranting.
What's your problem? I tried to save Axariuth.
Ever since you lost your memory, you're like a completely different person.
You all couldn't do anything to stop it either. Don't just blame me.
You're right. I'm powerless. But still. Ion, don't even bother talking to him. He's not worth it.
It's Master Van's fault, not mine, right, guy?
Luke, don't make me think even less of you.
I was stupid for starting to think you had some good in you.
Why? Why are you all blaming me?
Master, cheer up.
Shut up! What do you know?
A lot of my people died because of me. So, I can understand what you're feeling, Master.
Don't compare me to you! Don't compare me to...
I've detected an unusually strong phonon signature. It's to the west.
That's probably Yulia City.
Something. Is that a waterfall?
Yes, it's seawater from the Outer Lands coming down. The city's inside.
Won't the water pressure crush the Tartarus?
Don't worry. The water vaporizes near the ground.
Then here we go.
Wow! This is Yulia City?
Yes, the mayor's inside. Let's go. How long are you going to stand there? Everyone's gone to the mayor's house.
All they'll do is keep accusing me of stuff. I don't want to go. You're even more pathetic than I thought, reject. You! What are you doing here? Where's Master Van? Ha! You still call him Master even after he's betrayed you? Betrayed me? Then Master Van really did want me to destroy Axariuth? Damn it! If I'd realized what Van was planning sooner, this never would have happened! And you! Why didn't you think before using your hyper-resonance? So you're saying it's my fault too? Of course it's your fault. Don't even try to deny it. It's not my fault! It's not my fault! It's not! Are all replica brains this defective? Replica? Master Van used the word replica too. You still haven't figured it out? Is this someone's idea of a joke? What? What the hell are you talking about? I'll tell you, Luke.
Ash, stop!
Why do you think you and I have the same face? How should I know? I'm a noble who was born in Batical. 7 years ago, I was kidnapped by a villain named Van. You can't mean... That's right. You're a second-rate copy of me. A mere replica. You're lying. It's not true. It's not true! You wanna fight, replica? Stop lying! Rending thrust! Rending handblade! Raging blast! Rending handblade! Out the way! Rending handblade! Stalagmite! You're gone! Die! Get out of my way, replica! Shut up! Bring it on! Rending Fangblade! Rending Fangblade! Idiot! Fangblade help! Fangblade Rage! Fangblade Rage! You're gone! Fangblade Rage! You made me slip up. You're lying. I'm not... I don't want to acknowledge it either. To think that Drek like you is my replica. To think that trash like you stole my family, my home, everything from me. I'm going to be sick. Die!
Listening, Ash?
Why am I wearing Ash's clothes?
Ash!
I'm listening. Don't shout.
Talk to the mayor, to my grandfather, about launching the Tartarus.
What's going on? Why is Tyr looking at me but saying Ash? Can you hear me, Luke? You're over here. You and I are perfect isophones. You're a perfect replica, right down to your phonon frequency. I'm no replica. A perfect replica and its original can connect with one another via their phone slots. We adjusted your phone slots at Coral Castle so that they'd be open to me. You've heard my voice several times since then, right? Then right now my voice is inside your head? Then that means Not just your voice. I controlled your whole body. Of course, I doubt Drek like you can pull that off. Stop making fun of me. I'll do it. Just watch.
think of the cliff-off?
It's just as I'd heard. Not very pleasant.
The miasma and outer lands cover the sky. The land is a liquefied crust flowing over the mantle. It's no place for human beings to live.
Then why are these guys living here? Why don't you move to the outer lands?
You know our role. We are the Watchers. We cannot leave this land.
Watchers? What are they watching? So I hear there may be a way to raise the Tartarus back to the outer lands.
We've attached a phonon activator to the Tartarus similar to those used by the passage rings. It should be able to stimulate Axariuth Sephiroth and raise a tree one final time.
Then we ride the Sephiroth tree back up to the surface, huh?
Exactly. But do you really need the landship that badly?
I wouldn't have asked if we didn't.
All right. Then would you like to head to the Tartarus right now?
Yes.
Then let's go.
Can we run a landship this size with only 4 people?
Only with the bare minimum maneuverability.
Sephiroth are the pillars that support our outer lands, right? How are we going to use that to get back up? The Sephiroth are places where the planet's phonons are concentrated and memory particles spout forth. The pillars, Sephiroth trees, are the result of artificially strengthening those memory particle spouts.
In other words, we're going to be pushed up by memory particles.
We'll temporarily stimulate the Sephiroth and catch the memory particle spout with the Tartarus sails.
I hope it works.
Don't worry. Begin.
Like we made it up.
I can't believe this is floating in mid-air.
So, where do we go now?
We can get information at Phone Machine Lab 1 in Belkin. Van goes there often.
He does?
I misunderstood Van's objective. We'll have to uncover his activities to find out what he's really after.
I want you to take Ion and me back to Doth.
We'll take you back once we're done. I need bodies here to operate the Tartarus.
Why not use your own men?
I can't. Everything I do would be leaked to Van.
I don't see any problem with helping Ash. We too need to know Van's true objective. Natalia is right. If you say so, Ion, then I'll go along.
I have something I want to confirm as well. I'll cooperate with Ash for a time.
Belkind is to the east. Now get to work.
It's your father's territory, isn't it? When we were young, we went together to Belkin's.
The city's to the south. Let's go.
Ash.
Let's go! Want to see how strong I am?
Piercing line!
Dark and storm Oh, noble conflagration! Incinerate all! Raising Phoenix! Let's keep going! So? Ash! So the traitor to Kimlaska still lives here in this city. What a joke.
What do you mean, traitor?
This guy was involved in my kidnapping.
Don't tell me you're the one who broke the ban on Famicry.
It's just as you imagine, Jade.
Jade! The necromancer!
Applying Famicry to living creatures is forbidden.
Every Famicry researcher longs to try it at least once. You're no different, Jade Curtis. Or should I say, Dr. Jade Balfour. You're the father of Famicry. You made dozens of replicas.
I won't deny it. I am the one who proposed the principles of Famicry.
Then you have no right to criticize me.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm not interested in mutual wound licking. I have no intention of covering for someone just because they've committed the same sin as I. I'm well aware of what I've done. That's why I forbade it. The replication of living organisms presented both technical and ethical problems. You, a Famicry researcher, should know well the fate of the first replicas of living creatures.
All I did was help with Van's preservation project. I figured if all we were doing was recording the replica information.
Preservation project? What are you talking about?
You didn't know?
Tell us!
I can't. I shouldn't have mentioned it at all.
Why is Van collecting replica data? What does he plan to do with it? Well, I'd assume he's going to make replicas.
We're going to Orshan Cavern.
The cave on the western continent of Rhodesia? But why?
I presume he intends to investigate the replica issue. Phonamine can be gathered there. And? Well, you know, Rhodesia is Kimlaskin territory. Malkuth can't interfere. Dist was originally a researcher from Malkuth. It's a logical place for him to go after stealing Famicry technology.
Enough talk. Let's get going.
Boo! Do you really think we should go, Ion? Yes. For now, let's do what he says.
I'm getting off here.
Why?
I'm worried about Luke. I have to go back for him.
I don't believe you. Who cares about that idiot?
I do, because he's an idiot. I don't know what he'd do alone. And I have faith that he can get past this.
Guy, you're Luke's attendant and his friend. The real Luke is right here.
This may be the real Luke, but my friend is that idiot.
Thanks, Guy.
It's up to you if you want to go back for him. But how do you intend to return to Yulia City?
Aramis Spring. It's a cave northwest of Doth. If the replica comes back to the Outer Lands, he'll pass through there.
Thanks, Ash.
I knew you'd choose him.
Did Van tell you? Well, that's not the only reason.
What are you talking about?
Nothing. See ya.
Luke, aren't you going to stop him?
Don't call me by that name. It's no longer mine.
awfully damp in here. It's probably because of the sea breeze. Please wait in the Tartarus, Ion. But I'm interested too. No, it's too dangerous.
Go back, Phone Master. You'll be in our way.
Oh well.
Go ahead and take him with you. Are you stupid? What are we going to do with someone who can't fight?
Let's go inside.
I wonder what those are. Wow! Ash, that was great!
Are you okay?
Yes. Yes. I'm fine. Thank you, Ash.
Jade, do you recognize them?
Well, biology is not exactly my specialty. They don't appear to be indigenous to the area, and they seem odd for a new species.
Looks like this may not go easily. Let's go.
Gotta do what you gotta do. Absolutely flawless. Shadow Ray. Aerial laser.
Course we won!
Piece of cake. Indeed. Let's get some Shadow Ray.
Arise, O violent waters, to rout my enemies!
I'm bursting a phone.
That's done. Guess you wanna die!
Piercing line.
Coming spear! Bang! Have it!
Aerial laser.
Course we won!
Piece of cake. Indeed. Let's get this over with. What is this place?
A Pharmacy research facility, though it appears to have been abandoned for some time.
The calculation device is still running.
Impressive. I doubt Luke could have handled this.
This is research regarding the effective scale of Pharmacy.
They were trying to create replicas of large objects by increasing the data collection area.
Large objects? You mean like houses and stuff?
Oh, larger than that. Even back when I was involved, we theoretically could have replicated a small island.
That's huge!
What the hell? Impossible!
What's wrong?
Look at the maximum replica size Van's research shows.
30 million square kilometers. That's more than a tenth of Aldrint.
Even if they succeeded in making something that size, there'd be no place to put it.
They also have a list of previous replica data. The Malkuth military should have disposed of this.
Did Dist smuggle it out?
Most likely. It's data from the people of the destroyed island of Hod. There's no mistaking it. I was the one who had them take it at the time.
Don't tell me they're trying to resurrect a replica Hod.
I wonder. Let's take this data with us.
Hey, are these Cheagles? How can they eat if they're trapped in a place like this?
Someone must be taking care of them. These two are probably a replica and its original.
Yes, they both have a star-shaped mark in the same place.
I wonder if these little guys breathe fire like Mew. Whoa! I wonder if this one's the same. This one doesn't seem as energetic.
It must be the replica. It's common for them to have reduced abilities.
But Colonel, the identification plate says this weak one is the original.
I see. Replica data extraction can have a negative effect on the original in some cases.
Oh my. What sort of negative effect?
In the worst case, the original dies. Though with perfect isophones, a different effect occurs.
No way. So did making me mean that Ash is...
Natalia, Ash, there's no need to worry. Symptoms will always present themselves within 10 days for inorganic matter. It's even faster for living things. 7 years later, Ash is doing fine. There's no need to worry.
Thank goodness.
Oh, good. It's pretty sad when I've got Drek like you worrying about me. What, you want to start something? Enough! Shut up!
Replica stuff is complicated. You came up with this technology, right?
Yes. Though it's a part of my past I wish I could erase.
We've been here long enough. Let's go.
So all we learned was that the Commandant's trying to make a really big replica?
That's plenty. Let's go.
Go where?
I can do the rest alone. I'll take you back to your homeland.
Piece of cake. Let's get this over with. Yeah, giant leave it to me.
You're being a pain. Be careful. There's something here.
What? Let's do this! No!
That's enough! More of the earth bring more Printing backblade! The weak should stay back! Annihilation! Rending saber! Darken storm cloud, loose thy blade and run my enemies through! Surround my enemy! Blessed drop! Farewell! Loose thy blade and run mine enemies through!
Trouble here! Suited blade!
Idiot, grant mine enemies a final round! Idiot! Loose thy blade and run mine enemies through!
Twist the door! Distortion! Open wide! Negative!
Prepare yourself! Oh, very well. Idiot! Be gone!
Admonishing melody. Arise in the name of the necromancer, Mystic Cage!
Now know what true power is! Idiot! Sonic Street! Here! Darken storm blast, thy blade and run my enemies through! That's enough!
that? It was huge! Disgusting!
Pharmacy research involves a number of chemicals that are harmful to living creatures. That may have been what caused this.
Ash, thank you for protecting me.
Let's get moving.
Welcome back!
An earthquake! Ugh! Thank you.
I remember the last time I caught you like that.
Yes, I wanted to sneak out of the castle, so I jumped from a window.
That earthquake may have been Southern Rugnica falling.
What? Why?
Because Luke destroyed the Sephiroth tree supporting Southern Rugnica. It was barely hanging on by the Sephiroth from other areas. It's about time it fell.
What effect will that have on other regions?
Did you forget that we've been having the Phone Master open the doors to the Sephiroth?
Even with the doors open, the passage rings are protected with Yulian seals. No one can use them.
Van can.
In other words, Van is able to control the Sephiroth. Then, is his objective the further destruction of the Outer Lands?
That's what it looks like. From what I heard, the next to fall will be the area around St. Bina. I don't have time to play with you anymore. Goodbye. I guess the channel's closed.
Master!
Mew. Oh yeah, St. Bina's in danger.
Luke, you're awake.
Is this a flower garden?
They're Selenias, the only flowers that grow in the Cliffoth. They bloom at night. The outer lands cover the sky, so hardly any sunlight gets through. Anyway, you look like you were worried about something.
Oh, right. I want to go back to the Outer Lands.
You'll be able to go back at some point, but for right now...
No, I have to go back now. Ash said St. Bina's gonna fall.
But you've been asleep this whole time.
I could hear. He and I are connected.
Even if that's true, how do you plan to prevent St. Bina from falling?
Oh, well...
You don't understand a thing. You base all your actions on what others say and never try to understand things for yourself. That's no different than how you acted at Exariuth.
You're right. Master Van said so. Ash said so. That's all I ever say. It's no wonder everyone got sick of me and left me behind.
You knew that they went back to the Outer Lands?
I told you, Ash and I are connected. I saw it through him. I really am his replica.
Luke,
Up till now, all I ever paid attention to was myself. And I'm not even sure I saw myself clearly.
yeah.
I want to change. I have to change.
If you really mean that, then perhaps you can. But even if you change, that won't bring back Exariuth. And it won't erase the fact that thousands died. With the weight of all that on your shoulders, how do you plan to change?
I don't know. That's all I know how to say. I'm pathetic. If I could make up for Exariuth by apologizing, I'd apologize as much as it took. If my dying could bring back Exariuth, then I'd be scared. But I'd die. But that's not how things are. Even if I tried to make up for it, I'd never be able to. So I'm gonna start with what I can do. I don't know what that is yet, but I'm serious. I want to change.
I still don't think you really understand. Not while you can talk about dying so easily.
I won't ask you to trust me right away. Tyr, you carry knives on you, right?
Yes? Why?
Let me borrow one for a minute.
Luke!
With this, I say goodbye to who I have been. Tyr, I want you to watch me from here on out, and then make up your mind. I may not do a good job right away. I may make mistakes, but I'm going to change.
All right. I'll be watching you.
Please.
I will. But don't ever take it for granted. I can give up on you at any time. Anyway, right now, if St. Bean is really going to fall, we have to find a way to stop it.
Right. But what should we do?
Let's ask the mayor, my grandfather. He should be in the meeting room.
Okay, let's go.
I was looking for you, about the third phonic hymn. Oh, so he's recovered?
Layla, so has the third hymn symbol been discovered?
What's the third hymn? One of those phonic hymns you use?
So he doesn't know about them.
The phonic hymns I use are Julia's hymns. There are 7 altogether.
Oh, so the third of those 7? Wait, you always just use 2 of them.
I don't understand the symbolism of the others.
Julia's hymns are useless with only the melody. If you don't understand the meaning and wisdom in the hymns, they're just songs. Oh, that's right. The symbol of the third hymn. There was a hidden page in a book Van left behind. It might be written there. When you have a chance, stop by my place and take a look.
Phonic hymns sound pretty tough.
Yes, the symbols are very difficult. I know all but the 3rd and the 5th. But so far I only understand the 1st and 2nd.
So if you don't know and understand the symbols, they really are just ordinary songs.
Actually, all 7 of Julia's hymns sung consecutively form another phonic hymn. It's called the Grand Phonic Hymn, and it works even if you don't understand its symbolism. The hymn itself is the symbol of the covenant.
The whole covenant with Lorelei Grand Phonic Hymn? What power does that have?
It's said that the Grand Phonic Hymn and the Key of Lorelei together can summon Lorelei.
That sounds amazing.
Yes, but the Key of Lorelei has been lost, and I don't know the 7th hymn, so it may not mean much in the end.
Cheer up. I don't know about the Grand Phonic Hymn, but your 1st and 2nd hymns have really helped. That's good enough.
Luke, thank you.
I've been waiting for you.
What's the book Van left behind?
It's just an ordinary book on phonic arts, but there was a hidden page at the end. Here's a copy of it. I don't know what it means, but I thought you might...
This is... Va... Le... Sue... Tue... Mother... Understanding... Spreading through the land of Rugnica, the magnificent angel's voice.
What's going on?
Quiet. Tyr is meditating. It looks like that really was the symbol of the hymn.
Now I understand. This is the 3rd hymn.
Were you able to figure out the hidden whatever it was?
Yes.
Congratulations, Tyr.
Thank you. Do you mind if I keep this copy? There's information here about the symbolism in the other hymns as well, though I don't yet know enough to understand them.
Be my guest. I'm sure it'll come in useful eventually as you grow stronger.
Yes. Thank you.
It's you. And this must be...
Pleased to meet you. I'm Luke.
I'm you!
You, stay quiet. I apologize for what happened at Axariuth.
Ah, you're the Luke replica. I see. You really do look the same.
Grandfather!
Oh, I'm sorry. There's no need for you to apologize to us for Axariuth, however.
What do you mean?
The fall of Axariuth is written in Yulia's score. It occurred because it was meant to.
What are you saying? I've never heard that. That makes it the same as Hod.
It's part of the closed score. Only those of Maestro rank or higher know of it.
If you knew about it through the score, why didn't you try to stop it?
Luke, I'm surprised to hear someone from the Outer Lands say such a thing. A calm, orderly life in accordance with the score is the way of the Order of Lorelei.
Well, yeah, but...
Why are people read the score on their birthday each year? To learn of the next year and accept the possibilities it holds.
Then why didn't you inform the world about Exariuth's destruction?
Yeah, if you'd let everyone know, people wouldn't have had to die.
That's the problem. When faced with a score of death, people become unable to live peacefully.
Of course, sir. Nobody wants to die.
That's not acceptable. Yulia read prosperity for Aldrich in the score. If we don't move history down that path, we'll lose the prosperity we are promised. We are the Watchers who guide the Outer Lands to prosperity, based on Yulia's score. The Order of Lorelei is a tool for that purpose.
And that's why Grand Maestro Mose helped phone Master Ion and tried to cause a war?
Master Van knew about the score when he took me to Exariuth?
That's correct.
You told me neither Malkuth nor Kimlaska listened when you warned them about Hod. Was that a lie?
I'm sorry. You were young. I didn't want to tell you the truth. But Van knows the truth.
Then my brother is planning to take revenge on the world. He said that a world shackled to the score is better off destroyed.
Tyr, you're mistaken in thinking that Van is trying to destroy the world. It's true that there was a time when Van hated the score after what happened to Hod. But now, he's doing an admirable job as an observer.
Admirable? Letting everyone in Exariuth die was admirable? You're crazy. There's something wrong with all of you.
Not at all. At the end of the 6th phone stone, Yulia's score reads thus. The land of Rugnica will be enveloped in war, and Malkuth shall lose territory. Kimlaska Lanveldir shall thrive, and this shall lead to unprecedented prosperity. We have watched all this time in order to bring that unprecedented prosperity to the Outer Lands.
But grandfather, Van is trying to cause Saint Bina to fall.
The battle will take place around it. Saint Bina will not fall. It is not written in the score.
Mayor Teodoro, it's time for the council meeting.
I'll be right there. If you two are that worried, take the Yulia Road to the Outer Lands. See for yourself that your concern is groundless.
Tyr, let's go back to the Outer Lands. We aren't going to accomplish anything here.
Right. But before we go, there's something I want to get from my room, okay?
Sure.
Van hated the score. He was always talking about it, here in this room. He'd stand about where you are now, and say he could never forgive a world that let Hod die.
Why does he care so much about Hod?
The Isle of Hod was Malkuth land, destroyed in the Hod War 16 years ago. It was our home. Hod fell into the Cliffoth, just like Exariuth. Van and my mother, who was pregnant with me, fell into the Cliffoth. Van probably used a phonic hymn. Something happened before I went to the Outer Lands. Van returned to this city, something he didn't do very often.
seems to suspect something.
Ash is still a bit dainty. He'll cause trouble if he learns that the people of the Outer Lands will be annihilated.
Shall we have Singh keep tabs on him?
Yes.
I thought my brother was planning something terrible. At least that many people were going to die. I couldn't allow that to happen, even if Hod had been left to die because of the score. I swore I'd stop him, even if it meant killing both of us.
Dear.
But it looks like I failed. I couldn't save Axariuth.
That's because I
can't blame it all on you. I took an assignment in the Outer Lands in order to stop Van.
You're strong.
Am I? I wonder.
Too strong. But thanks for telling me about all this. I think maybe I understand you a little better now.
That's the first time you've ever thanked me for anything.
Really?
I'm so happy you two are growing close to each other.
It's not like that. By the way, what did you come here to get?
A book on phonology. I thought you would need it.
Why?
A hyperresonance is caused by seventh phonons. I think this will help you learn to control them.
Oh, thanks.
The Yulia Road is to the right of the meeting room. Let's go. This path connects to the Aramis Spring on the Padamian continent. That place is crawling with monsters. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm scared.
It'll be all right, Mew. Here we go.
Us out into the water.
It's all right. You won't get wet.
How come?
Apparently, the force from the Sephiroth spout pushes the water aside.
Those Sephiroth things sure are strong if they can lift the whole land into the sky. And I destroyed one of them.
Standing around depressed isn't going to help anything.
You're right. I came back here to do what I can. Man, I'm hopeless.
It's about time you showed up, Luke. Hey, you cut your hair. Nice. Clean cut. Looks good.
It's just like I saw when I was connected with Ash. Guy waited for me. Guy.
Huh? What is it?
I'm not Luke.
Jeez, I don't need you talking like Ash too.
But I'm a replica.
So, that guy doesn't like to be called Luke anyway. I say take it.
Take it? You haven't changed a bit.
You sure have, though. You don't have to put yourself down so much.
I'm not. It's just...
Sure you are. Who cares about names at this point? You could at least look happy to see me, after I went to the trouble of waiting here for you.
You're right. Thanks.
Luke said thanks?
Need a change. Looks like you never do.
Is so obvious.
Why did you wait for me?
We're friends, right? Oh, wait. I'm your servant. Sorry.
I'm a replica. I'm not your master.
It's not like I was acting friendly towards you just because you were my master.
What?
You're you, and Ash is Ash. Replica or whatever. You're real to me.
still beat you. Guards down. The Devil's Inferno! Found your weakness. Take it, kick. Devil's Inferno! Excellent. Leave it to me. Take it. Devil's Inferno! Who's next? Take it. I just keep getting better. These guys are whips.
Don't get cocky.
Check this out. Tiger Fury. Take top. Guardian Field. Prison strike. No way. Void take like this. Tiger Fury. Piercing flash. Light flash. Who's next? Tiger. Demonic Tiger Blade. Bring it on. No way. Rhythmic Sand Blade. Can't win. You're mine. Beat. Now die! We're done here.
Do you remember? It was after the kidnapping, so I guess it was right after you were born.
What? Did something happen?
I asked you if it was hard not having your memory. You said, you can't go forward if you keep looking back. So you did need a past. That's what you told me.
Man, I was stupid. I did not need one. I didn't have one.
Actually, I thought it was pretty insightful.
These guys are whips. They'll still beat you if your guard's down. Light spear cannon! Swallow Fury! Devil's Inferno! Guardian Field! No way!
We're not playing around either. This must have been hard on you.
I'm in no position to talk. Everybody died because of me.
Part of that's my fault, though.
You didn't have anything to do with it.
I'm partly responsible for raising you from a blank slate to a selfish, spoiled kid.
Huh?
From the start, when you didn't remember how to walk, or didn't know, I guess, I was the one who looked after you. I've really learned my lesson.
These guys are wimps.
They'll still beat you if your guard's down.
Tiger Blade! Now play Rending Mansley!
No way!
Devil's Inferno! Devil's Inferno! Weakness!
We're all right.
How should I try to make up for Exariuth?
That's a difficult question. It's not something you can just apologize for.
Yeah, apologizing is important, but it can be hard on the one you apologize to.
Why?
The greater the loss, the more people need someone to hate for it, you know? You might feel better, but the ones you apologize to can't just say, okay, no problem.
Perhaps you should spend your life bearing that responsibility, never forgetting. No, that's too vague.
Maybe I should never be happy.
Now I know that's not right.
Are you sure? I mean, I wasn't even supposed to be born, and then I destroyed Exariuth.
Okay, stop, no more of that. Hearing you talk like that is just annoying.
Guy, Luke's thinking seriously about the issue.
Just help people. Use the rest of your life to make everyone in the world happy.
There's no way I can do that.
I know that, you idiot. I mean, you need to put that much effort into it.
Oh, right. I get it. I think.
You move too much. You can't think about your reaction, just react.
You never let up.
you. Guards down. No way!
Excellent. Leave it to me.
Can't run my enemy through.
Piercing flash! Light blast! Tiger blast! Excellent. Leave it to me. No way! I just keep getting better. Whoa!
Jade?
Oh, good. I was afraid I might have missed you.
Colonel, what are you doing here?
I have a favor to ask of Guy. He said he'd wait for Luke here, so I came looking for him.
Me?
Moses captured Ion and Natalia.
What?
Oh, Luke, you're here too.
You got a problem with that?
Not especially. Anyway, if we don't rescue them, there's going to be trouble. There aren't any Malkuth forces nearby, so I thought I'd ask for Guy's help.
What do you mean by trouble?
With the disappearance of Axariuth, Kimloska has begun making preparations for war. They probably intend to use Natalia's death as justification.
That's right. The people of the Outer Lands don't know why Xariuth disappeared.
Ion was wary of this and returned to the Order to issue a decree. He was captured upon his arrival.
Okay, Luke, we're going to rescue them. There's no way we're letting a war happen, right?
Yeah. Should we head to Doth?
Yes, that's the idea. In case you were unaware, Doth is southeast of here. I hope you won't get too lost or slow us down too much.
Luke, it's not easy to regain trust once you've lost it.
I know. Just stay dead. I don't know, is it?
Yes. Ion and Natalia are likely being held inside that cathedral.
Understandable, since those two hold the potential to stop the war. Mose won't want them to leave Doth.
Can't we just tell my uncle about them being captive?
Natalia's probably thought to have been killed in Exariuth. I think that'd be difficult.
Yeah, and Mose has the king's ear too. Let's help them ourselves.
Annis is looking into things at the Order. Hopefully, we can find her in the city.
I guess we'll have to look for her.
To rout mine enemies. Blessed God!
See ya. Don't go overboard.
We're done here. A favor?
What's this all of a sudden?
I've been thinking of using this phonology book to learn to control hyperresonance. Will you teach me?
I'm afraid not. I can't use the seventh phonon after all.
I guess I'll have to ask Tyr then.
If you don't want to learn from me, then...
I never said that. Would you teach me?
Okay.
How much longer do I have to keep doing this?
Quiet. Don't just close your eyes. Listen for the phonons flowing through the world.
Like I could hear that.
Don't listen with your ears. Feel them with every phone slot in your body.
Do
not listen with your ears. Feel them with every phone slot in your body.
Major Lagretta. Feel them with every phone slot in my body?
Yes, phonons are a combination of sound and elemental properties. It's rare to see them, but your phone slots can perceive them. They feel the vibration. Drawing those phonons into your body is the basis of all phonic arts.
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
Good. Then let's stop here for today. Tyr, you have talent. I suppose I should expect no less from one who shares Van's blood.
Thank you.
Don't let that go to your head. People may treat you more harshly simply because you are Van's sister. As foolish as that is.
I understand. I'm ready for that.
Then that's enough serious talk. Tyr, I've been given a letter for you from Van.
From Van?
He's looking forward to seeing how you grow. He eventually plans to ask you to become his right hand. Practice hard so you can meet those expectations.
But Major, I couldn't imagine anyone at my brother's side other than you.
Why, thank you. But all I can offer is my meager cunning and my memory. So for his sake, no, for your own sake, more than anything, you must grow strong enough to survive. The world ahead of us will be fraught with chaos.
Yes, Major.
I hear it.
Enough. Remember that feeling of power overflowing from inside you, of your body trembling. Those are phonons.
Yeah, I think I understand.
Don't rush yourself. This is only the start of your training.
I know.